Welcome to the Gospel According to podcast, the first and only podcast looking at the intersection of pop culture and the Christian faith. I'm Dan Ulrich, joined as always by my co-host. You may know him as the guy that sold his soul for sparkling water. That's Dave Hallahan.
I actually hate sparkling water, and I would not sell. I would like.
That wasn't you?
That wasn't me. It wasn't me. You got the wrong guy. I also don't get the reference.
Somebody in our friend group, Liquid Death, they had like a promotion where you could like, sign a contract selling your soul and they would send you like a free case. Somebody in our friend group did that. That's
funny. No, I mean, Monster Energy drink, not a sponsor, but they might be able to get my soul if I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying they should be able to do that. Anyway. But I might sign some papers to get a case of Monster Energy.
If they bring back your orange.
If they bring back orangeade, yes, that would be where it's at for sure.
And we're not alone for today's episode. We're joined by a guy, as you may know him as the guy at church wearing the Star Wars t-shirt. That's Josh Griffin.
That's me. Today I didn't wear a Star Wars shirt, but I have 32 of them in my closet. So you never know when you need one for every day of the month and a backup.
There you go. And you are Instagram famous for taking pictures with other people at church wearing Star Wars t-shirts. Is that correct?
It's true. Anytime I work in junior high ministry, anytime a junior higher wears a Star Wars shirt, guaranteed we're taking a picture together, and I'm going to make them famous.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, so I have an unhealthy love of Star Wars. It's true.
And Scout Troopers, that's your thing, right?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, for some reason, Return of the Jedi Scout Troopers captured my imagination as a kid. So anything that has a Scout Trooper on it, shirt, toy, whatever, I have them all with about 4 exceptions. So the Holy Grails.
Oh, no. Coming for it. You may know Josh, co-founder DYM, Download Youth Ministries. For the OGs, followed him on morethandodgeball.com.
There you go. That's a deep cut.
Yeah. And so we don't have you on for any of that stuff. We're going to just take that. We're going to push
Star Wars. Star Wars, not talking about that. Yep. Youth ministry, not talking about that.
The other stuff that people may, see your name and be like, oh, I definitely want to hear what he has to say about emergent youth ministry strategies in a post-COVID era. No.
Nope. We're asking the hard questions.
I agree. I feel like I talk about youth ministry a lot and Star Wars plenty. And our subject today, I don't talk about much, but I love with all of my heart.
Yeah. And so today we are looking at the gospel according to Pickleball. Josh, how'd you get into pickleball?
Well, if I was going to sell my soul to something, it would be. So my friend Doug introduced me to this game right at the mid-pandemic. And he said, it's really fun. You're going to love it. And we spend a lot of time together anyhow, running Download Youth Ministry and whatever. And we do ministry at our church together. And the game was so fun. It was weird. You play with a wiffle ball, which feels a little weak sauce, if I'm honest with you. But I went for it. And it was so much fun. And I kind of kept dabbling in it. And now I play a lot. And he kind of didn't, and now he's back in with the rest of the world, and pickleball sweeping the nation.
Yeah. Oh, it for sure is. It's, running. It's the new thing. It's the new hype train activity in our country.
It's so true. It's the fastest growing sport in America. I was in Israel a few weeks ago on a Holy Land tour. There are pickleball courts there. I was talking to people on the plane from the Netherlands and Germany. There are pickleball courts there. I'm playing today if we can get a court because they're so full.
A quick aside, I follow you on social media. That's how I stalked you and know all these other things. And I saw your trip to the Holy Land, and can I just say, it looks like you had the most fun of anybody that has ever made that trip.
You can go see the sights. You can go see Bethlehem. You could see where the shepherds, and I'm in. That was beautiful. You can go to Jerusalem and go to the Garden Tomb. It was amazing. But not many people will raft the Jordan River, and then tube behind a speedboat on the Sea of Galilee. It was incredible. Jesus calmed the waves, but I don't know if he could calm the wake that day. It was pretty great.
Let it rip. That was like the most youth ministry like tour of the Holy Land. It's like, what if
honestly, I was afraid of posting it because I was afraid people were going to be like, "That's sacrilegious. You can't do that on the Sea of Galilee." I'm like, "It's a lake."
Yeah, come on.
Jesus walked on it. I mean,
some people, it's like, have you been baptized on the back of a jet ski going down the Jordan River doing a backflip?
True story though. While we were rafting the Jordan River and we're splashing each other with our oars and little kayak things, whatever. And my kid's phone fell in the water and they lost it somewhere in the Jordan River. It was baptized. But the byproduct of that was pretty great because although it was a very expensive phone, they were so present for the trip because their phone was gone. So like the Lord answers prayers, guys. That was it.
The Holy Spirit just grabbing the phone.
Yes.
He descended like a dove and just, is that too much Bible humor now?
It was gone. No, that's what we're here for.
Okay, good.
So question about, Dave, you've never played pickleball?
I've played pickleball, not quite a handful of times.
Okay.
Three times.
So you're vaguely
familiar. Yes.
I'm a little more removed. I played tennis in high school. I've seen it being played and things like that. Would love to have people that would play with me. And to jump in on that, but from the outside,
I'll have to put in the sad violin after that. I would love to have anyone who would want to play anything near with me.
Waretown, New Jersey, please call me. There's courts in our area. I've been trying to play, but I'm just playing by myself. And
like a sad puppy that needs to be adopted right now.
Please. But it looks like a game that a youth pastor invented.
It really does.
Like somebody, Dylan and, Pastor Dave were standing on top of the ping pong table, like with a wiffle ball being like, "Oh, we invented a new game," and the senior pastor runs in and is like, "Get off of the table." And it's like, "No, it's a new game. It's called pickleball." Really?
I think it needs a new name. First of all, it's the fastest growing sport in the country. It's blowing up. It's actually been around like 50, 60 or whatever. It's not a new game. But it's taken off. So the gist of it is, think of it like either really big ping pong, and you're standing on the table instead of on the whatever in front of the table, or think of it like really small tennis, and you're using a wiffle ball with like big ping pong paddles. It's kind of that in between. Like if pickleball might be if tennis and ping pong had a baby or a redheaded stepchild or something. That's pickleball. So really fun. You can learn it in about 2 minutes and you will never master it. So maybe it's a little bit like golf in a way.
Yeah. And I do think you mentioned earlier, Josh, the wiffle ball and how that felt like a little soft like aspect of the game. And really pickleball in general, I'm like, when I first like saw it, I was introduced to it because my father-in-law plays and he was telling me who plays from his church with him. And like my father-in-law is one of the younger people who plays at his church. And so I'm like, okay, so this is like old people who can't play tennis anymore. They want to go play pickleball. And I'm like, I'll come with you the one time. And like, I'll take it easy on everybody. And I got my butt whooped. Like they know what they're doing. And like you leave drenched, like you get a workout in for sure. It walks softly and carries a big paddle. I think like it looks like it's a weak man's game, and then you step on that court against somebody who's played a little bit, and
it's true.
You'll learn it's different.
Yeah, you haven't really played pickleball till you've been beaten by a 70-year-old woman with a knee brace.
Yes.
It's
her second knee. Like that wasn't even her original knee.
Right. That's part of the problem with pickleball, though. It's played with a wiffle ball, and it's played by retirees initially. And so you're like, you gotta be kidding me. And there's some natural the name is terrible. Like if you're looking for strike 3, there it is. Like they should have renamed it, introduced it to like spike ball. That's a great sport. That makes sense. It's got a good name. Old people aren't playing it. But pickleball is where it's at.
But I mean, on the contrast is I think one of the reasons why it's grown so much is you have that support of the older community that are
That's true.
making decisions in town, that are renovating all the tennis courts in
Right.
town to be pickleball courts, are putting the money and their governmental sway behind
Yeah,
making the
absolutely.
courts
And
happen.
pickleball's super inexpensive too. You can jump in and play for whatever. You can buy 2 paddles and balls for $20. Like, you don't need a ton of extra gear. Like, it's inexpensive. Although those people that, kind of have popularized the sport, the retiree community, they have a lot of expendable income or disposable income. And so they're buying, the paddles have gotten so good. I do think tennis people are very upset right now because they have all these courts that no one ever plays on, but now that pickleball has taken over, they want their courts back.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, in our town, there was a grouping of 3 courts that they made into 4 pickleball courts now. So
There
there's
you go.
less and less tennis courts in town.
It's the future, guys. Actually, it's the present. I mean, it's here.
And like you said, that it's becoming so big, there have been side effects. Now all the stories are coming out of all the like emergency room trips and the, knee replacements, ACLs of like all these people that because I think it has a easy on ramp to being played, people that maybe have not exercised
It's
in,
true.
in a while are jumping into it and
Right.
maybe extending themselves
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit too far.
Awakening some old joints and aggravating some arthritis. And yeah, I mean, it's so fun because I've played for almost 2 years now, right? The end of the pandemic was kind of like, we can get out of the house and it's socially distant and whatever. Now it's a thing. Now it's so fun. But I think, the people that have jumped in and it's so accessible, it's the age gets younger and younger and younger. I was playing at some courts the other day and there was a bunch of teenagers out playing. And that didn't happen 2 years ago. So the game is changing. It's spreading far and wide. Although I am now in that category where I hurt the next morning. I'm sore everywhere. I'm going to need that new knee is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So is slang, you saying how pickleball is not the greatest name. Do what do you say to Doug? Yeah, you want to go pick? You want to, hit the fermented courts? Like what's the,
We call it P-ball a lot. And
okay.
honestly, we just have embraced it. And you're like, hey, what time are we going to pickle? And it sounds weird if you're overhearing someone's conversation, but
which adds to the youth pastor lore. Like the name plays into it. Like a youth pastor would call it pickleball. Like, what are you guys doing? We're pickling. Pickleball.
That's it. I mean, supposedly it was named after a dog named Pickle. There's other people that say when you pickle another team, it's when they get 0. So you pickle them. I don't know. It's a terrible name, but it is a beautiful game.
Yeah. There is a lot of this. This just popped in my head. I don't know why, but like in baseball, a pickle is when you're like in a rundown, and there is a lot of that like back and forth short stint movement as if you were in a rundown. So
yeah, I mean the game from a distance it can look very, you're just lobbing the wiffle ball back and forth, but at the higher levels and even in some rec play, it's a fast paced go game where the ball is like bang 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 bang, and some of the professionals, which there is a professional pickleball league already, it's extraordinary how many hits will go back and forth at point blank range,
Right.
So I mean, pickle as a verb, I kind of like. As a name of us, I don't know.
Is it only doubles or is there singles play?
Well, for me, there's only doubles.
Okay.
So doubles is way more fun. It's way more action packed. Singles plays a lot more like tennis, where you're banging long drives against each other. It's an unbelievable workout. It is harder on the joints. You got to be quick. I like to think singles is a young game and doubles is for everybody.
Okay.
So doubles is just so fun. Plus, I mean, you're with a partner and your opponents are not that far away. They're, 10 feet away from you or whatever. So you're talking, you're laughing. I mean, I've been to birthday parties now with pickleball as this, fundraisers. Pickleball is it. It's just a recreational sport that can be very friendly. It isn't always, but it can be very friendly.
It's very social. We'll say
Social. There it is. There
that
it
can
is.
be friendly or not.
That's right.
I've seen reports of complaints from people because it is a louder sound
Yeah.
than tennis. So you
Yeah.
get the
You do. And if you hit the ball like near your ears, you can hear a ringing in your ears too. Like it is loud. They've made some softer paddles, but they're no good. The loud paddle, bang the ball, it makes some noise. One of the courts we like to play at just down the street just put up soundproofing. It's an outdoor court, but it has wind guards, and now they put in soundproofing. It's pretty amazing. You can't hear what's happening on that court. But that's the exception. It's a loud game, and some people are ticked by that too. And you're cheering, you're laughing, you're having the time of your life. People, you're snapping your paddle, and some people are cursing and whatever. I'm not going to point fingers at who would be swearing, but
Doug, you can just say it.
Hypothetically, there's people that are very upset.
Oh man. So I mean, the reason we've had you on here because we've been getting tons of DMs, and we brought you in as the expert.
Oh no!
On the first and only podcast where we look at things pop culture like pickleball, and we always try to integrate them in our faith. So everybody wants to know, Josh, what is the gospel according to pickleball?
Oh, that's a great one. So I've thought long and hard about this one. And I thought about the greatest players of pickleball and how they're like the chosen. And no, that wasn't it. And then I thought, I had all these like the battle between good and evil. And no, that's not it. Here it is. I'm not sure. Maybe we can workshop it a little bit, but here's what I got. Pickleball started in a little town in Washington State, and it took a little while, but the news of pickleball spread far and wide. Now to the far corners of the whole earth, like kind of in Judea and Samaria and the uttermost, right? So now pickleball is the top. It's the new CrossFit. It's the, if you're a vegan, you're telling people you're a vegan. If you're a pickleballer, you're telling people. There are pickleball evangelists everywhere in every city. It has spread to the furthest. So Jesus was born in a little town in Bethlehem. I was there 2 weeks ago. That's not a flex. That's just true statement. And the message of Jesus, the good news, spread far and wide of his death, burial, and resurrection to save us from our sins and to give us a hope for eternity. Now, Jesus adds eternal life, but I just read a study that said pickleball will add 6 to 7 years onto your life because you're more active. So pickleball, it's not quite as good as the gospel, but it does add a little bit of life, but you still got to make sure your eternal destiny is taken care of. But anyhow, the gospel of, according to pickleball, it is spread far and wide, and it has taken hold of the country, and it is changing lives. How about that? Was I close?
That's
I love
good.
it. That's great. Yeah.
The Bible says, what good could come out of Nazareth? What good could come out of Washington State? And then, we get pickleball churches.
Exactly. I was up in Washington, and you have to take this ferry out to the island and where it was at Bainbridge Island or something like that, where it was invented. And they said there's a little pickle. Yeah, there's a little pickleball museum. It's like a shed, basically. But they said the island traffic is through the roof because people want to go to the first pickleball court where it all started. So there you go. Who knew?
I love that, and I like the like little engine that could kind of story that comes from both Christianity and from pickleball, and that is a life lesson. One of the things that I've been convicted about is that we have to let time bear out, right? Our faithfulness will bear itself out. And so you can have conversations with people, and some people are more likely to and more disposed to and better at evangelizing. But like, you talk to people about your faith, and we all want to like close that deal in that moment. But that's not always going to happen. But our faithfulness, and people might even doubt our faith. Oh, you say you're a Christian, but you cursed at pickleball and or whatever. And but like, all right, over the long stretch of my life, it's going to bear itself out, and it might look like a loss now, but in years, hopefully, the testimony of my life, of our faith, or whatever the thing is that you're a part of, even your ministry, youth ministry. There are down times. There are a lot of down times in youth ministry. But if you're faithful to what God has called you to do, then I think in time that will bear out. And you'll never be as big as Jesus, but you might be as big as pickleball one day.
Well, it's true. I mean, literally, I was sitting where Peter, on the Sea of Galilee, where Peter was called, and it's still the middle of nowhere. Like, it's still an insignificant spot on the planet. And to think that, 11 or 12 people change the world from one spot is kind of mind blowing, especially if you get to go there and see it. You're like, no way. But for some reason, God chose some unlikely heroes in an unlikely location to be his disciples. And we get to continue that mission, that tradition, that calling today. And thankfully, we get to play pickleball too, which is also really fun. I would say this just as an aside: pickleball. I'm a youth pastor by day, and I interact with tons of people who are followers of Jesus. Like, that's just, they're in the church, I'm in the church, whatever. Pickleball is a really great chance to meet real people and to be able to share your faith, because it is social, it is recreational. I've had a ton of conversations. And then they question my profanity. Just kidding. But like, it really is a chance to share your life and faith with people as you're, laughing and playing and or intense and crushing the ball, whatever. Mm-hmm. I just don't get a ton of opportunities to do that as a person who works at a church. And pickleball has been a really fun outlet for me to connect with real people and share my life and faith with them too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point too. We just a couple of weeks ago, we had on someone talking who works in prison ministry, and they go into prisons and they play softball against the inmates. And I think there's something about sports that are kind of just a great equalizer, like you're saying. I'm sure, Josh, you view yourself as just a normal guy, but in a church setting, when you're a pastor, you're the pastor, and there's something, there's like an aura about that. But then when you get the pastor on a pickleball court, it's like, let's go. Like, we're even, I'm coming for your throat. Like, we're doing this. And there's an equalizer to it. Just like, in prison, it's kind of the opposite stereotype where, like, these guys are bad or whatever because they're in prison. But then you get on that field and now we're just competitors, and now we're viewing each other as equals. So yeah, all sports kind of have that, where when you get on the court, it kind of allows us to connect at a baser level and kind of put aside whatever preconceptions we might have had about each other.
Yeah, I agree. I actually like it when people don't know that I'm a pastor. Yeah. It's one of the few places where I can go and I'm Josh. Right. And there's a lady there. She's sweet. She goes to another church down the street, but she calls me Pastor Josh. And I'm like, you can just call me Josh. It's okay. Because I think it's fun when people do discover that. I like that about other people too, not knowing what they do. And then kind of as we play and get to know someone, you're like, oh, you work for whatever, or you're on the board of this or whatever. I enjoy that. I like people being surprised by like, oh, he's like a church person who seems pretty normal and incredibly good at pickleball. No.
Right. Of course. But I think that idea of like taste and see, like Dave, you said you played because your father-in-law invited you to come along. And Josh, you said like you can buy 2 paddles and some balls for $20. And this idea of like, okay, you've heard the weird name pickleball. You've seen, the courts, but here, let me bring you along with me. I'm going to teach you about it. I'm going to guide you, mentor you, show you the rules, and we're going to do it together. Of that as a discipleship model of like, yeah, we could spend all the money we want on flyers, on postcards, on social media, on things like that. But the heart of why a lot of people come to church is because somebody invites them. Somebody
Exactly.
brings them along, says, okay, yeah, it's going to be weird coming in by yourself. You don't know the rules of church. You don't know but sit next to me and we'll do this together. And I'll be there with you to have questions and we'll do this socially together.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, pickleball is weird. Like the scoring of pickleball is weird. You say your score and then the opponent's score, and then you say the number of serve that you are. So if you serve first, you say one. If you say so, for example, if I'm playing you, it'd be 1-7-1. And it's just goofy. Like there's some insider language, there's a learning curve. And so I love it. Exactly. If someone invites you to play, you're like, oh, I figured this thing out right away, or this is the way, like this is the path. I get it. And I feel like, man, that's exactly what it is when you invite someone to church, especially through a relationship. You're like, let me show you the way. This is awesome. You're going to love it. Can't wait for you to experience it. But it's so intimidating to go alone. Yeah, you got it. Exactly.
All right. You got any other pickleball wisdom before we play a game here?
Don't start because it's addicting. How about that?
Do your enormous calves help at all in pickleball with the explosiveness of?
I need big calves for the rest of me to carry the rest of me around.
The foundation stabilizers.
We have like a workout tracker. Like I have this ring that tells me how many calories I burn whenever we play. And we did have a 1,200 calorie day the other day. That was pretty, pretty solid. Yeah. Yeah. Doug, we were playing out in the sun. It was so hot that day. He literally wrung his shirt out with sweat. Ooh, it was awesome. And we won 5 out of the six games. So that always,
that helps. That helps.
It
running
helps.
The courts.
Yeah. I mean, you literally,
I've never played before. You guys want to?
Gotta go. You gotta go. It's so fun. It's so easy. And then you just shark people. It's great.
There you go. All right. You guys ready to play a game?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So we talked about the name of pickleball. We talked about each of us have spent time in youth ministry and have created various games, sometimes out of nothing. There's many times early in my youth ministry degree before I had the tools of DYM and other places where it would be like 15 minutes before youth group started, and I'm like fishing through drawers and cabinets and like, what can I make a game out of?
Okay, yep, been there, done that. Dollar store shopping. I'm like, I'll grab that, got a game.
Yeah, you're just in the clearance aisle looking for inspiration of like, okay, there's these half price, about to expire Jello cups. Like, okay, we're doing Jello Olympics tonight, or whatever. And so I have a series of just names. So there's pickleball. So I have something ball, and the two of you, and maybe I'll help out a little bit. We want to create a youth group game around the idea of this. And much like pickleball, it doesn't have to include pickles, but maybe something inspiring out of this name. You got it?
Got it.
All right. So first one is watermelon ball. How are we playing watermelon ball at youth group tonight?
All right, you go first, Dave. What do you got?
All right. Well, I'm inspired. I wish I could go a little less on the nose, but we're using a watermelon. But we're gonna do like a ships and sailors type game, right? Where so you line up people on either side. There's some people in the middle who are tagging you, but the goal is to get a greased up watermelon from one side to the other. But if you get tagged, you have to leave the watermelon where it is. And if you break the watermelon, then your whole team loses. You can't break the watermelon.
That was good. I was thinking of a camp variant where you're in a pool and it's covered in Vaseline and it's slippery and sliding and anything goes. No rules. Just get the watermelon to your side of the pool. That would be nuts. What about a game where you take the mini watermelons that look a little bit more like a bowling ball, and you do some watermelon bowling with that? So you set up some 2-liter bottles at the end that you're going to use later in the night, and you got a long stretch of, I don't know, tarp or something. Maybe it's still a greased up watermelon, and you got to chuck it down there and knock over the 2-liter bottles. That would be a sweet game too.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to get rid of the watermelon, you could also do a watermelon distance like catch. So you throw, like if it's a decent one, and you chuck it as far as you can, and you try to break the record. The only problem is when it hits the ground, you're probably not going to be able to eat it later. So
well,
maybe that's the last
junior
game.
hires. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet you could find a kid who could eat it. I'm sure.
Yeah, the watermelon games.
That's one of those things in your mind. Like as a young youth pastor, we're like, yeah, we're just going to throw watermelons and see who can catch it. And then it's like, concussion, broken toe later. It's like maybe throwing, 10-pound objects at each other wasn't the best.
I was at a conference one time. I was the host of it, and someone won a prize, and it was a 6-pack of whatever, Coke Zero or something. And I threw it into the crowd, and cans broke up. It was horrific. I have learned some painful lessons throwing things into the crowd. So maybe watermelon bowling. Maybe we'll go with that instead of the throwing.
The less airborne this watermelon is, the safer our job is, I think.
All right, second game, we're going pizza ball.
Oh, I like it.
How do you play pizza ball?
First of all, I would go back and call this night the Hunger Games youth ministry event. And so then we have all these different games based on the food. So come to our youth group's Hunger Games. It's going to be awesome. We're playing cabbage ball, pizza ball, whatever, watermelon ball, watermelon bowling. So Hunger Games is the overarching one. Pizza ball, I think it's a pizza dough, like a ready-made pizza dough on the far end. And you're throwing toppings in a limited amount of time. And you have to get as many toppings as you can. And then you bake the pizza, and you have an eating competition to finish the pizza the fastest as well.
So and what if that lands on it, you get points per every pepperoni that's like on it.
And what if it's the opponent's pizza? So you want to pile the toppings high. And you can also throw gross toppings on there, like anchovies, or I don't know if you're a pineapple person or not. But yeah. So you try to get as many toppings so that it takes them longer to eat, but also some gross toppings. That'd be great. Although I am a pineapple on pizza guy, just for the record.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm a middle of the road guy on a lot of things, and pineapple on pizza is one of them. Like, sure, if that's what you want, and if it's what's there, I'm gonna eat it. So I don't think I would ever order it. I would never choose it, but I'd eat it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you sound like you maybe don't have a strong opinion on very many things.
No, that's what it is.
Except for mango.
Nailed it.
Mango and mango pizza.
Mango pizza. Boardwalk style pizza. I have strong opinions about that.
There you go. Okay. All right. What's your pizza variation or game?
Well, I'm not even going to change it, but I am going to make it if we want to make it not food related.
Yeah.
I was thinking I like the tossing of toppings on two things. And so I think I have kiddie pool. I imagine kiddie pools, and you're throwing, I still think we can have food involved, and you throw food into these kiddie pools, and the losing team has to jump in or something to the pool or something.
That's fun. Like a Frisbee could be pepperoni. So you got to chuck the Frisbees in or whatever. Yeah. Or a kid is laying down in the pool, and you're throwing real food, and they have to catch it in their mouth. That would be pretty great.
We could get real messy double dare with this. Have one kid with a white shirt on. We weigh him beforehand, throw sauce, toppings on him, weigh him afterwards after, goes through the obstacle course, and see who got the most toppings on little Billy.
Strong. Have you seen that Cheetos one where you do whipped cream or shaving cream, and you throw Cheeto balls as fast as you can?
Yes.
That's a classic. That's such a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
I want you guys to work at my church. Let's go.
The only other idea I've had, we've done before, there's ultimate Frisbee. We've played ultimate everything, so that you just, every time somebody scores, instead of a Frisbee, okay, now we're playing with a book. Now we're playing with a beach ball. Now we're playing with a pool noodle.
Love
So
it.
instead of ultimate frisbee, maybe we get a frozen pizza ball, ultimate frisbee with the
Yeah,
frozen
like
pizza.
frozen DiGiorno's,
Right.
not a
Yes.
sponsor, but
Yeah.
as you play the game more and more, like when you start the game, it's fresh out of the freezer, and so it works kind of like a frisbee. But then as the game goes, it's like soggy and it's a little bit harder to manage.
Then you try to get any piece of the crust over the goal line. Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
what we played Ultimate with the squid one time, so you could do squid games. That would be an easy win too.
Mm-hmm. We
Ultimate
did it with
squid.
a frozen tilapia once, and I realized that was one of those youth pastor fail moments because people were getting like scales like stuck into their finger
Yeah.
afterwards because I didn't realize how sharp the skin of a tilapia was.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Next one, we got cornball.
Cornball.
Double meaning here. Like, are you going to be a cornball? Be a cornball for Jesus.
What if it was cornhole, but you used corn on the cob instead of bean
Nice.
bags? So you're literally trying to throw corn in the hole. That's
Yeah.
actually
I
a
like
really
it.
funny visual.
I think yeah, you could make the night like cornball games, and I think they're just yard games. Go back, check out our episode, The Gospel According to Cookouts. But they're yard games, but instead of whatever the thing is that you would use, you're using corn. So even like can jam, you're playing can jam with corn on the cob.
Corn jam.
You're playing spike ball with corn on the cob.
You gotta work
corn.
cream corn in now. How do you get cream corn in here? Let's do it.
Cream corn.
Cream corn chug would be pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I'm setting that one out.
Oh
there'll be somebody that'll do it though.
sure. Yeah, they'll find a way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Instead of washers,
cornball.
you're just doing that.
What if you're in a cornfield and you have to, covertly get a ball from one end of the field to the other because you have all the rows.
Like we're playing soccer, but in like a cornfield.
In a cornfield, so all the stalks are in your way, and that could be fun. That'd be easy cornball.
That's fun actually. So if any youth pastors get kicked out of farms, this is the disclaimer. The Gospel According to podcast does not endorse.
All right, we're gonna turn it on you, Dan. Here's one for you. Ready?
All right, give it to me.
All right, it's cabbage ball. It's got a fun name. Cabbage is a fun word to say. Cabbage ball. What is it? You go to the dollar store. You see a giant sale on cabbages.
Okay. So we're gonna set up like a wiffle ball field. Person pitching the head of cabbage. Person has an aluminum bat at home. Hits it as hard as they can. As many times you can make it around the bases before the other team can collect all the pieces of the cabbage and put it in a bucket. So the harder you hit it, the more it sprays, the more opportunity you have to run the bases.
Super strong. That's fun. It's got like a Gallagher exploding fruit thing. This is good.
Then you got the teamwork of trying to pick up all the pieces quickly together.
Yeah,
kind of like more like cricket, because it can go backwards.
If you have some cabbages left over, you could do like a touchdown celebration contest where they spike the cabbage and then demonstrate their Fortnite dance moves. It's perfect.
Have you ever seen the SNL short where it's just like iceberg lettuce, but they're just like as if it's a snack. They're just there talking to each other as they're like taking big bites out of a head of lettuce as if it was an apple or whatever.
So good.
Maybe that as the promo for Cabbage Night, Cabbage Patch.
This could be a thing, guys. Pickleball has nothing on us.
On cabbage ball.
Pickleball was just the beginning.
It all started in a little podcast.
Yeah. This other podcasts are going to be popping up, about the origins of cornball.
Exactly.
All right, that was all the games I got for that. But those are some solid free, some free games for there. Maybe you've used up all your DYM points. and you need a quick game before your
Yeah, I
church
just like to
secretary.
say you're welcome, everybody.
We just planned out your next 4 youth group event nights.
Yeah,
So this will
heading
go
into
out
fall planning.
mid-July. So if you used all your DYM points and credits first half of the month, we just supplied you the second half right there.
We got you covered. You're welcome. I love it. I'm heading into fall planning later today with my team because it's right. The little lull right before camp is our, like, let's try to look ahead. And so we're gathering up a few people today. It's going to be fun. And I might pitch the Hunger Games, guys. This could be it.
Yeah. The Hunger Games is good. That's good. I like it.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. As we said, you mainly here for pickleball, but people can check out DYM, right? If they need any, they have been a sponsor before.
It's true. Yes, DYM, a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor, actually a sponsor. Yeah. No, Download Youth Ministry is just a fun, it started out as a crazy idea to help youth workers have killer resources for super inexpensive prices. So, I think because I've done ministry in a cornfield in Michigan where I started, and I've also done some ministry at very large churches, the resource gap is really wide. And so would it be possible to create killer mega church caliber stuff that everybody can download for a couple bucks? And the idea has taken off, and we've just been along for the ride, and youth pastors are creating amazing things for other youth pastors. So I hope you'll check out Download Youth Ministry. And when your Hunger Games is over, you can do the Taco Bell Olympics because we have that on the site, and it's really good and really fun and tons of games and videos and whatever, and just trying to help. I mean, I'm a youth pastor too, so this is my life, and it's so fun. Even last night, we're doing a game. We're at the Great Park in our city, and it's awesome. And we've got these socks with flour on the end of them, and we're smacking kids around. And then they find the cooler water, and they're spraying the cooler water on now. I smell like pizza dough, actually. And I'm loving it because we're connecting with teenagers ultimately to point them to Jesus, the life-changing gospel. And I love what I get to do and have a lot of fun while we do it. That's what I'm here for.
And it frees the youth pastor up to do some of the real relational ministries.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuck in your office, planning things out. They have great resources. You can spend some time spreading the gospel on the pickleball courts.
Exactly. You take a little time for yourself and play pickleball. Go get shave ice with a student. Say hello to your own children if you have them. Whatever.
Listen to the gospel according to.
Exactly.
All the important things.
All the important things. Yes. Spend time with your spouse. Listen to the podcast. Yes. But honestly, youth ministry has a ton of pressures on you, and this just eliminates a whole bunch of them so that you can do stuff that matters. And the other stuff that churches ask you to do that doesn't matter, but is on your plate because you're the youth pastor or you're the associate pastor or whatever. So
you're the youngest person at the church, so you do IT. And
yeah. Can you help fix the printer and the website and also do youth ministry?
And somebody threw up in the bathroom, so you're going to need to take care of that. It's creamed corn everywhere.
That might be the truest thing said today, right there. The creamed corn. Oh.
Well, thank you so much, Josh, for joining us. Thank you for everyone out there listening to the Gospel According to. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms that have existed or have ever existed or are just popping up by the day. We got threads just dropping now, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and follow us on all those. Find us on the pickleball courts. Challenge Josh. Say, I listened to you. I heard you're pretty good, and I want to take you down. And if you beat Josh, let us know, because then you're going to move up on the Gospel According to power rankings. Right now, Josh is at the top. So anybody that beats him gets moved up. Let us know about that.
Dan, I'll do my part, but we're giving away a pickleball set. Do you remember who it's through?
Yeah, we'll just record that at the end for the beginning.
Okay. All right. Now I knocked myself off track.
I don't know if you ever heard. It's like a pickleball yard game. So it's kind of like Can Jam, except you are hitting the ball.
Fun. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, so they're going to give us a set to give away.
I love it. What a great idea.
Yeah.
No, we're adding a pickleball event to our youth ministry calendar. We're planning a fundraiser later in the year with pickleball. Like, I'm in, so that helps. The kids are too. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. All right. I'll get us back on track here. You can also send us a mailbag question on any of those social media threads, Blue Sky, or the ones that have existed for more than a week. Or you can, if you remember email, you can email us a question at tgatpod@gmail.com. We would be happy to read that question, answer it, or we'll give you our answer on the pickleball court. Whatever we need to do to get you the answer to your question. And make sure that you're doing your part in obeying the Great Commission and helping us spread the gospel according to podcast. One great way to do that is leaving a 5-star rating and review wherever it is that you listen, and word of mouth recommendations go great as well. So next time you're on the pickleball court and you or your opponent lets a curse slip, you can be like, hey, you should check out The Gospel According to. They have an episode on cursing, and they'll love it. But yes, leave your review. We will read it here on your next, on the next episode of your favorite Hump Day podcast. This was The Gospel According to Pickleball.